Thanks for coming here to the Quird on the Street. I am your...
Yes, god damn it, that is right! I did it! Number 5, are you kidding me? That's right! Who do you think you are? I am! Damn it right!
Alley host Vince. And with me, as always, over there, he is the road that our high school friends used to time trial down, and that our friend Jake almost rolled his Jeep on. He is your gorge host, Josh. What's up, Josh?
Man, did you record all those other pieces earlier?
What do you mean?
Or was that yelling actually you yelling right now?
No, I was yelling, man.
Oh. Did you get up and go across the room and scream?
Oh, you'll see.
Oh, that's good.
This is a good time to announce that we have a TikTok and to put a little pressure on Josh to actually edit videos and put them up on there.
Shh. Nobody needs to know these things.
I mean, it's not a big deal or anything. Just, I've recorded the past couple of intros, and it'd be fun to see them.
They will go up.
Okay. Oh, I'm out of breath. Give me a little bit of a break with a fun fact, Josh.
Oh, man. Let's see. Which one do I want to pull out this week? There's just always so many good ones that it's hard to choose a lot of them sometimes. But we'll go with a nice little simple one. Did you know that a shrimp's heart is in its head?
I don't think I did know that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I knew that it's like basically intestines were on his back.
Yeah, shrimp are weird.
Shrimp are fucking weird.
Yep. Yep. Got that poop vein you gotta clean out when you're
Yeah. Nasty little buggers.
Yeah. Well, luckily for me, I don't have to eat them. So we're all set.
I love them. You know what makes them tasty? They're bottom feeders. They eat all the trash, all the tastiest trash, and give it to me in a digestible form.
See, if I would just become the trash if I ate one of them.
Maybe. You are what you eat, so I am trash.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is what it is. This is Quird on the Street. Every week we take 2 of the 28 words generated by the word game Quordle, and we choose them and try to pick something we could talk about. This week, I'm going first with my word local. I decided, looking through them, nope. I made sure to look at the things, and you went first last week. So even though you had yourself first in the document, I decided to be nice and take some pressure off you and let you, you exerted a lot of energy.
Yeah, man. That was my calorie. That was my calorie.
It was an Oscar-winning performance. So gotta make sure you get to catch up. Yeah, so local is on the list this week.
Oh, hold up. Before we start, you know what I'm referencing with that?
What? You're yelling?
Yeah.
Nope, not a clue.
Okay, keep going, and I'll drop this in at some point during the recording.
Okay. So, yeah, it makes me obviously think about local businesses, and I figured we could have a discussion on our favorite local spots, the best local business stories that we know, what makes a good local business, that kind of stuff. Do you have a favorite, either in one like specific or a multitude of favorite local businesses, whether it be here or out near you now, like places that you just find yourself continually wanting to go to because they do such a good job?
Yeah. So around me, like I'm out in Apple Country out here in Rochester. I'm actually not in Rochester. I'm like out east of it in Apple Country. So like 5 minutes away is one of the better cider places in the area, Embark.
It was good.
And yeah, I love going there. It's very good. They have pretty good food from other local places, and the ciders are wacky and very good.
I was impressed when you took me there. I can't lie.
Yeah.
The ciders that I bought and brought back home did not last very long.
Which ones did you buy? I can't remember.
The cherry and Why can't I think of the other one now?
Mhm.
Hold on. I'm going to have to
Was
look
it
this up.
the blueberry peach one?
No.
Because that's a good one.
Let's see. Embark craft ciders. Let's see here. Strawberry rhubarb. I got the tart cherry and the strawberry rhubarb.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, those are my two that were wonderful from there. So
Nice.
if anybody finds
So-
themselves near them, try those.
Or just finds Embark. I know that at least locally, Wegmans carries them. I don't know if like Wegmans in other areas carry them also, because Wegmans is a Rochester-based company.
Yeah.
But they're expanding like all down the eastern seaboard. So
You need to
I
expand
don't know if they-
Utica.
yeah, well, I don't know. Apparently they have some agreement with the Delhaize group to not compete or something. So I don't know if you'll see them near like a Food Lion or a Hannaford
Well,
or something like that.
Those places, Food Lion and Hannaford, can get out because they suck compared to Wegmans.
Yeah, Wegmans got that juice.
They got that subs, all them subs.
Yep. They got the juice.
They got
Can't
all
imagine anything more beautiful.
that. No, that is a good spot.
Yep.
I think.
How about you? You got any locals? Because I
have a ton.
just finished watching the like one slice reviews from Utica.
Yeah, those are great. Obviously, Oskanese, which Dave Portnoy did a review of while he was down here. I mean, that's just like a staple. If you're from the Utica area, it's just it's been around. They're celebrating 108 years in business this year,
Yeah.
and it's like
It-
even if you don't like it, like even if you don't like their pizza, you have to respect the fact that like you
Well,
don't
isn't that what he
survive
said?
for 108 years
Yeah.
without being good and doing something right. Yeah, that's
Yep.
what he says. Like the history alone
It would
brings
yeah,
the
it
score.
would be like a mid-7, but he bumped up the score just for the history.
yeah. Which I mean, a mid-7 for him is that's a 9 for most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, right.
You just don't get when most people, or an 8 at least. Most people would consider like their average pizza right around there.
Yeah.
Utica Coffee is always great. They do a great job.
Those
Multiple
local coffee
locations, always
places.
expanded.
Yeah, local coffee places are great. I've gone to like Finger Lakes Roasting out here, and there's one in like closer to me, Imprint Coffee. They're really good. I don't know what it is about like micro roasters.
I think they just take their time and they buy higher quality beans.
Yeah.
They're not sourcing anywhere near as much, so they can be a little more selective about what they get. My favorite thing with Utica Coffee though is all their seasonal stuff. They change out a seasonal thing like every month.
Yeah.
Which is just
That's
great.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Small is I don't know, it feels like Small has an easier time with that sort of thing, with the like small runs of things, I guess. Is the way to put it. I mean, it's kind of
Yeah, because
derivative
they're
of
not
what I
worried
said
about
before, but
their bottom line anywhere near as much, so they don't have to buy
Right.
in bulk to get the profit
Right.
margins up as much as they can. A place
Yep.
like Dunkin' is trying to buy as much as possible for as little as possible, so that they can just
Yep.
throw it out to the masses for as much profit as possible. Or these places, they have a set profit margin they want to make, I'm sure, but they don't
Yep.
skimp on
I
quality
don't-
to get there.
I don't know why. The easiest thing for me to relate this to is just like alcohols. I already talked about it, but Embark, has a ton of different seasonal flavors that are constantly rotating out. You compare that to like in Angry Orchard, that's like a huge operation. They have one seasonal flavor that rotates out, and then 4 or 5 other constants.
Yeah. I think the big thing though for those is they're not competing. Those little places aren't competing for shelf space. So it's like, say Angry Orchard did that and they just ran out of their original flavor because they were working on small batch stuff, and then they didn't have the original one to stock shelves. That store is only going to let that shelf space be empty before they sell it off to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So like you
Mhm.
have to keep stock up to make sure that you keep a good standing with the places that you're selling. So that's why you always see the big staple names always in stock, because they don't want to
Yeah.
lose that spot to somebody else.
I keep cutting you off though. I'm really I'm really high on the energy from. I'm still riding high from that intro.
You scream so much that you're just like, oh my God.
That adrenaline. I'm on fight or flight right now.
Yeah. So Oskineets for me, Utica Coffee. We have a brewery nearby, which next time you're in town, we should check out Seven Hamlets. And
Okay, yeah.
They do a really good job with their beer. And it's just
I would imagine they do.
really, really nice environment. Kind of like an old looking, well, not old looking, but like a red barn style building. They built a big wooden stage on their property this summer for, bands to perform on. Tons of outdoor seating. They've only been around for 3 years, but man, every day after 5 o'clock, you drive by and there's packed.
Yep.
To the point where they had to buy the lot behind them and turn it into a parking lot because all the other businesses were complaining that the vehicles were crowding the road too much because they would just be like vehicles lined up and down the roads.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go there.
Yeah, I mean, the microbreweries are like the perfect example of this sort of thing. They're just killing it. In Utica, you have a place like that versus a place like Saranac. That's a big macro brewery.
Mm-hmm.
And in Rochester, we have a brewery that's arguably even bigger in Genesee.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Genesee's a big macro brewery. They have a little tiny brew house where they run their pilot batches and like serve food or whatever. But there's other microbreweries around here that are killing it, arguably as hard as Genesee with all their business. Like, there's one not too far away from me called K2 Brothers. They sort of specialize in sour beers, which are very hot right now, right? But they're the same way. Like, they have a parking lot that's always packed, and they're on like a little access road sort of thing. And if you go at the wrong time, you have to park like a quarter mile away from the building down that road on top of what they have in their parking lot. And it's crazy how much business they seem to do. You just can't go at the wrong time. If you go at the wrong time, you're not getting a seat.
Yeah, which is good for them. I mean, that just means they're doing something right. But I think we're starting to see more of that where people want to support more local.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think that's the start of breeding back in, people wanting to do your tradesman jobs. Like people are starting to realize quality again.
Yeah. Did I tell you the maple board story?
Yeah.
I'll tell it on mic anyway.
Went to Lowe's. Yeah, but you can definitely let everyone else know.
Yeah. I mean, I went to I woodworking. I decided to make a shelf. I wanted to make it out of maple. So I go to Lowe's. I'm like, it's the closest place. It's the easiest place. I'm like, I know they sell maple boards. So I'll just, for the convenience, just go there. I don't feel like driving a half an hour to the place that I get hardwood boards at. So go to Lowe's. Look, $54 for the type of board that I needed. Like, something seems right here. I'm like standing in the aisle browsing the other places' prices. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm driving a half hour. I end up driving a half an hour and getting 2 boards for half the price of a single board at Lowe's. Sometimes, especially in small niches, these local places just take care of people so much better. They're just the better choice. Not always. Sometimes the convenience of a big box store is better, but for half the price, for double the amount of a product, I don't see how anybody could not go to that place.
Well,
if they know about it.
That's the problem. That's what we talked about when we had discussed it previously. Lowe's can get away with that because 90% of the people that walk through their doors have no idea that other place exists.
Yep.
And they don't care.
Need to go to Lowe's.
Yeah. Lowe's, Home Depot, one of those, and they don't care. That's the biggest thing is there's more and more of that where people don't do their research. They just walk in and swipe a card because it's easy.
Man.
It's just...
That's an expensive laziness problem.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to think about it. You just pay the credit card minimum and keep it chugging. That's how a lot of people operate. Just go in, swipe it, and roll. But, it's why places like Lowe's can get away with that because those mom and pop places aren't advertising. And Lowe's and Home Depot, they don't have to. They do, but they don't have to. They're so big that everybody has top of mind awareness.
Yep.
At this point in your life, you already know what Lowe's and Home Depot are. whether you've been there to get stuff yourself or not, you know what it is.
Yeah, whether they're shitty or not.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think makes a great local business? Like take Oskneets, for example. What do you think has propelled them to last for 108 years?
Honestly,
I mean, they definitely
it's just
they've expanded some. They had two
Right.
other locations that I don't think are around anymore. But that staple
It
first
is-
place has been there for 108 years. I mean, things have changed a little, but even the building still looks pretty close to identical if you look back at the old pictures.
yeah, I mean that place is wild. It's a literal hole in the wall, like just the perfect place.
Yeah.
They have tables in there. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody sitting at the tables.
Oh, it's packed so I go there a lot more for lunch. I'll order a small pizza and
Oh, okay.
pick it up. At lunchtime, you can't find a table.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Always slammed.
Do they still have the Addams Family pinball machine?
They might. I don't know.
That's what makes a good local business, having an Addams Family pinball machine.
Yeah. See, I think the reason you probably never saw it, unless you, I'm pretty sure they only do slices, like keep them readily available during lunchtime. So
I had no clue they did slices.
yeah, it's like 2 squares is 1 slice.
They definitely didn't do slices when I worked at APAC at the call center down the street. They definitely were not doing slices, or else I would have been going there instead of to the place that's now Nina's.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what it was called.
Johnny's.
But Johnny's, yeah. Instead of going there, I definitely would have gone to Oskneets, but nah.
Yeah.
Portnoy had such a hard time pronouncing Oskneets.
Yeah,
I get it, but still.
you know what's funny is obviously we'll have the link to the review in the description, but I could understand people that are like diehard fans of the business being a little upset with the kid that like ransacked the review with his hairline review. But it got so much traction because of that. That clip on TikTok, let me see what it's at now. When I checked it before, it was through the roof. Like I couldn't believe how many views it had already had.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Quick little scroll down. 2.5 million.
Dang.
Which 2.5 million views on a video?
Yeah, for sure.
For a local little Utica pizzeria is massive.
For a hairline review.
And let's be honest. It was the worst hairline I've ever seen on a 21-year-old.
It was pretty nasty.
I mean, for being 21,
yeah, man, that's rough.
That was running away from him.
Yeah, well, it happened to sit exactly where he wears his hats. Weird how that works.
Yep.
I recently saw. I don't know the specifics of this or anything, but one of the people that I actually follow on YouTube, just called out. I wouldn't say David Portnoy or whatever is David. Is it David?
Dave. Yeah, David.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's calling him out personally, but he's calling out like Barstool Sports business practices, because they like contacted him and were like, hey, could we use one of your videos on our site? Because they're just like a kind of cool content aggregator site at this point, right?
Yeah.
But he actually read the terms and services for the agreement, and it was like, we reserve the right to use any of your the gist of it was they could use any of his, if he agreed, they could use any of his content without having to sign a further agreement. So if you don't read that, you agree to let them use that one video because it's your most popular video or whatever, they could just sort of dip in and start using your stuff willy-nilly, is how their contract is written.
It's not surprising, really.
No, it's not surprising for a big aggregator site, but it's the sort of thing that like is why that type of content is not great. Like, I have no problem with this guy on his own. Like, the content that he makes good content. He's like a charismatic dude who's interesting and all that. But when you put something like that in your like creator agreement or whatever you want to call it, gets a little shady.
That's what happens when you got big business now. I mean, he sold.
Yeah, it's a big business.
He sold it. He doesn't even own it anymore.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. This dude, like,
he's just a face
like,
of it
actually,
now.
he said Portnoy, but
I mean,
I didn't
Portnoy's still the
realize
face,
Yeah, sure.
but you know
But
he
like,
sold it
yeah,
to
someone
Penn.
Penn.
Yeah, like
Is that like a media?
giant gambling like company.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Let's see.
But yeah, it was just interesting to see. I don't know if I'd ever heard anything particularly bad about Barstool. I don't like watch them, but I'm like they're one of those outlets that I'm just sort of aware of, you know?
Yeah. Penn Entertainment
Penn Entertainment.
acquires a they own 36%. So they have the biggest share out of anybody.
Yeah. That's a controlling share.
For 387 million.
Is Barstool a publicly traded company? How do they even acquire that?
Has to be.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess if they're looking for capital at some point, a company can come in. They're not necessarily public, but maybe they just got hosed on that deal. Maybe Portnoy got hosed on that deal, and Penn is just running roughshod over their reputation.
No, I mean, here's the big thing. So Penn owns like the gambling stuff. So like the
DraftKings.
No, not those, but like their own. But they launched in like the states that had become legal. So like Massachusetts, I think Michigan, a couple other ones where betting is legal now. They've launched their own apps to compete with that. So you have this giant sports conglomerate like Barstool that has all these different media outlets to talk about sports and fashion and just general goofy stuff, everything. And it becomes like a engraved part of people's lives. So then when they open up the sports betting side of it, oh man, the floodgates just open because everybody they already were trying to do it on the side, I'm sure, and now they can do it legally and do it through a company that they know. I mean, they're killing it. So I think that's why they invested.
I can't believe that shit's legal. So this past weekend we went down to Scranton, right, for the Italian festival down there. And my parents like casinos, so we go to the Mohegan Sun Poconos Casino down there, right? They have a little racetrack, so we watch the horses race. And we realized like they have an app. We can't find any programs, figure out how to bet at the place with cash. So my father signs up for the like online betting site, right? It's a $25 minimum to put money in. And then it's just so easy. You just go on there, you pick the thing, you put the money down. It's just, there's no barrier. I cannot believe that betting like that, online betting like that, is legal. Like, somebody who has a problem now has even less barrier. You don't even have to go down to an OTB. You could just, bet on the ponies right from your phone, right from home.
Yep.
And that's what people do like constantly. I got a couple guys at work who come in and they talk about what bet they put on fucking Serbian basketball last night.
Yeah, people be betting on some crazy stuff.
It's wild.
I just saw that this guy bet $300 that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have the worst record in football, which the chances of that are 350 to 1. But if somehow it happens, the guy's $300 turns into like 100 and something thousand.
Oh yeah.
So but it's just crazy to think that people are just. I couldn't even imagine betting $300 on it. Like, yeah, the upside is great, but the odds of it happening are so slim. You're just throwing away $300. But yeah, I mean,
it's intoxicating. Like literally intoxicating. So we went and we watched. There were 12 races. We watched the horse races, and like my father was putting like $2 bets here and there. So last race comes, and I'm like, I got to put a little bit. I go and I actually figure out how to put cash down, how to put a cash bet in, right? I'm like, why not? I'll pick the long odds. The horse's name was Captain Cash. So I'm like, I'll go with him. He was a 10 to 1 odds. I was going to put $1 on him, right? The machines wouldn't take my $1. So I got to put $5 on, and he wins. And I'm like, all right. And I rode high on that for the rest of the night. My wife later, Nicole asked me, hey, do you have any cash? I'm like, baby, you know I'm #1 pony boy picker. Of course I got cash. I got 34 whole dollars.
#1 pony boy picker. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I don't know. You think so? They're not really around here, but down in North Carolina when I was living, super popular things called sweepstakes.
Okay.
I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about before I explain it.
Not just from that one.
It's
Word.
imagine like a little internet cafe, but they have like a fish table, which is like this round circular game where multiple people can play at the same time, and then they have individual computers. The individual computers are basically like all these different kinds of slots games disguised as other games.
The hell?
And you can go in and put money, you give them money and they give you a card, and you go swipe the card at the machine, and you can put money into the machine and play all these games to try to, win.
Okay.
So it's basically
and at the
like
end of the night, you can redeem your points for like an eraser top.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You were in a Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, no, so you could, it's crazy. People go there all the time. It was like some kind of loophole in the way that the laws are down there. So like
Because it
they would
wasn't
open. They'd
obviously
open.
gambling.
Yeah, they would open and it would be good for like 6 months and then they'd get shut down.
Oh, jeez.
And then they'd open again and they'd be good for 3 months and then they get shut down. But they would pop up everywhere because in those, say, 3 months, the owners of the building would charge like triple rent of these places because of the
Oh my god.
Because of the likelihood of them getting closed down. So it would be like triple rent and no lease, yada 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 kind of deal. And they would do, let's just say 100 people walk in there, average person's putting $40 on,
Ugh,
and that's every hour 100 people.
man. Pure degeneracy.
Yeah, it was just I watched somebody go in there one night. I went with one friend and they were like, come on, just go with me. I'm like, dude, I have no interest, but fine, I'll go. I brought $20 with me and that's it. I left my wallet in the car. I was like, nope, I'll bring $20. I'll put it on.
Good
and
man.
I'll just treat it like I'm playing a game. And if it's done, I'm done.
Yep, it's $20 worth of entertainment.
Yep. I watched one guy that gambled away his entire paycheck. Literally
Yeah.
cashed his they cashed his paycheck at the thing. Like he signed over his paycheck to the people.
Gosh,
They
damn,
put it
dude.
all in the thing and the dude just yeeted it all away. I won $20. I got up to 40, took it out and left.
Yeah.
I said, I'm out.
So other than the $34 winnings that I got from this pony races, I actually bet at one other casino ever. I went, when you sign up for one of their cards, they give you a $20 free play. I got that mother up to $60. I cashed it out, paid that $20 back, walked out with $40.
Yep.
And that's the only other time I've ever bet at a casino. That's
my thing. I always say whenever and it's not just a casino betting, but like anytime anybody ever says, let's put a bet on it. Like even fantasy football and stuff. Like I'm doing a small league now that's paid, but it's only because a friend asked me if I wanted to be in it, and it's $25. Like it's not anything crazy, but
for something you're going to be watching and invested in anyway.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, I just won't put bets on. The only thing I will bet on is things that I can control the outcome.
Yeah.
I will bet. I'll bet on myself. Yeah, 100%. Like if it's like somebody wants to bet one-on-one in a sport or something against me and I think in my head that I could beat them, yeah, I'll bet on that because I control the outcome.
Yeah, sure.
But people bet on like arbitrary things that they have no control over, and that's what never makes any sense to me.
Belt sander racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip of a coin.
Okay. How far off track are we? What was the last question you asked? What makes a great local business?
Yeah. What makes a great local business, in your opinion?
Before we got off on this wild tangent, I was going to say it's like being there. The hardwood stores are what are like my primary example. There's two in my area. One of them I actually like better, but they're like not as available. So I would highly rather go to the other one where they're not going to be as helpful, but I can actually just walk in and walk around. The other one is like, it's weird. You got like they ask you to call before you come in to see if they have stock before you come in. And then
that's
like make an appointment if you need help. It's like, man, that's fucking wacky.
Yeah, that's a huge inconvenience. Yeah, being there definitely is a big thing.
So yeah,
just having availability.
These places, like, if they're noticeable, which is like, I started wanting to work in hardwoods, so like I searched, and they're noticeable in the search results, but like, yeah, they don't advertise like you said, right?
Yeah.
So how are you supposed to know in the first place unless you're specifically looking and think to search? But once you get past that hurdle, just making it as close to as convenient as the big box stores as possible.
Yeah.
You know, like I've still had to buy just plain wood from Lowe's and stuff because they're open after 6.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely convenience makes a big factor. See, for me, I think the number one thing that makes a great local business and what keeps them around is their desire to reinvest in the community.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Places that early on realize that it's not all about the dollar that they put in their pocket. If they can take that dollar that they were going to put in their pocket and put it into somebody's pocket in the community, it's going to generate so much more. Just people are loyal to loyalty. So when a business chooses to reinvest in the community, I think the perfect example for this is oh god, why can't I think of the name right now? Is it Franco's? I want to say it's Franco's in
the pizza and Subways.
Yeah, but it's the one in Utica, or not in Utica, in Ilion, and it's in Westmoreland, I think. Hold on, let me double check before I.
There's one in Utica. It's in North Utica.
No, not Utica. It's the one in Ilion I'm thinking of.
Okay. I mean, yeah, there is a Franco's in Ilion.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. Yeah, it's the one in Westmoreland. Okay, so the owner of that has started his own kind of mission where no kid goes hungry. So all summer long, a child can come in every day and get a slice of pizza and a drink for free.
Hell yeah.
Every kid. And he's been doing that, I think, for like 2 years, maybe 3 years, basically since the pandemic started. And it's only gotten bigger and bigger every year. The point where now this year he's taking like donations, so they can come in and get their pizza, but then he's been getting donations from places, not only businesses but individuals. So now he's got fruit snacks and fruit cups and juice boxes and all these things that people have donated that all these kids can have for free during the summer when they can't afford to eat. Some kids rely on that school lunch more than people realize. So having that outlet where, there's no shame. Everybody's able to just walk in and get it for free. It's not like, oh, you have the card that allows you to get it for free, because like that. Mm-hmm. That makes some people feel bad. They don't want to feel different in that way. Or like, I got a card that states that I'm, I don't have as much money as somebody else. It feels demeaning. So the fact that it's free to everybody,
the stigma of welfare, the welfare queen.
Yep. So being able to like everybody walk in there, every kid, and just get a slice of pizza and a drink, super good. Yep. And the community has responded into it in a huge way. Obviously with them donating, but even businesses making huge, like I know one of the places that they were just talking about made like a $5,000 donation to the cause.
That's good.
Which is massive. I mean, that $5,000 will stretch a long way when you're talking about slices of pizza and soda.
Yeah.
So like, I really think doubling down and investing within your community is one of the key things that makes a local business thrive for a long period of time. And also just helps build that story. People want to talk about good things. As much as the media portrays negative stuff and fills the news with negativity a lot of the time, 90% of viral videos are happy moments. Things that are, it's either funny or it's happy. The quintessential like man saves cat from tree thing. Like the reason that was such a popular kind of idea is because people like seeing happy things happen. So I think
I don't.
Yeah. Well, you're just a Scrooge.
Bah, humbug.
And I guess my next point was what attracts you to a place. I guess that's kind of the same thing as what makes a great local place.
I don't know.
It kind of go hand in hand, at least for me.
Kind of, but I do see it as different. Like, there's things that have attracted me to places that I won't necessarily go back to.
Yeah, I think I admire people willing to take a chance on something. So if it's different,
sure,
I want to try it. So like the place, the
Yeah.
Compound that I told you about, the like gourmet butter place that does like the gourmet grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff. Like that's such a different concept compared to anything else in our area. And I was like, oh, I gotta try that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what attracts me to places, well, one of the things that attracts me to places is seeing the popularity of those places.
Okay.
Like, if there's a place that, you know, Nicole and I think of to go out to dinner or something like that, and we drive past or something and it's packed and we end up just driving by. Like, that's probably a place that we're going to keep in our minds. Like, okay, it's popular enough that a ton of people are going there.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep it in our mind. We'll go there when it's not as busy and actually try it. Like, there's got to be something to this place.
Yeah.
We've been disappointed in places like that, and we have found some of our favorite places like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Trying new stuff is just taking risks is such a hard thing to convince yourself to do, but it's so rewarding.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. There's actually some places like that, specifically with like dining out with Nicole and I, that we have very recently decided like we have to sort of fix, because there's places like that where we'll see how popular it is and be like, there's got to be some place that, and then we'll try to get in like the day of, and that's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So we've started being a little more intentional with our decisions like this. We see a place that we think we'll make an actual plan to go there.
Yeah.
And I like doing new things. Like, I think everybody does to some degree, but you kind of need that in your life. Actually going and having new experiences, doing new things. Like, forcing myself to go up to the movies alone was one of the best things that I ever did for myself, because I realized how nice it actually is. For me, I understand that is extremely personal thing, whether or not you like to go and do stuff like that on your own. But yeah, just sort of realizing that you can just do stuff is kind of a valuable life lesson.
I mean, that's all we have really is experiences. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah. Yep.
Your personality and everything about you is just a collection of your experiences and what they've formed. So, I mean, trying new things is wonderful. That's part of the reason every time that, and sometimes they're excited about it and sometimes they hate me. Whenever I go to a bar, I'm like, just make me your favorite drink or surprise me. Like, they're like, well, what don't you like? I'm like, if I didn't like something, I would tell you. And if you give it to me and I don't like it, that's on me. Like, I'm willing to accept that possibility that you make something and I'm going to taste it and I'm going to go, oh, that's disgusting, and spit it out and not drink it. I'm still going to pay for it and it's not on you. Like, sure. But that's how I found some of my favorite stuff. That's a good
thing. I know that there's, if you go to like a sushi bar, there's this sort of thing. I'm trying to remember the phrase. I think it's omakase. But if you go to a sushi bar and order omakase, they will basically serve you what they want to serve you. Like, you are putting your experience in the chef's hand. And this is, I think, like just a sort of normal experience, a normal thing to do, like in Japan. But over here, going to a bar and saying, hey, make me whatever you want me, is, you know, can be met with that weird reaction.
Yeah.
Do you really want me to? Because people aren't genuine. People want to say that and then get mad when they don't get what they want.
It's like I was watching a podcast with Hex, the guy that owns part of Optic, and he was talking about how him and one of his neighbors and friends, him and his wife and Hector and his wife went out to dinner, and they went to this restaurant and they knew the head chef, but they didn't really like know him. They knew of him. They had met him once, bumped into him, but he came out to the table and talked to him or whatever. And he said, no, do you want to order something from the menu, or I can take you on a journey? And Hector was like, I didn't know what he meant. And he's like, you can order something on the menu, or I will curate a meal for you guys. And he's like, of course, I had to just let him curate this meal for me.
What sort of level of dining experience is this?
Like Michelin.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is risky.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's $100 steaks, $200 steaks, that kind of stuff. They don't care. I mean, they have money. They're the both
Right.
couples are multimillionaires.
It's
You
not
know?
necessarily the money, but like a schmo, like
Yeah.
someone who doesn't have a refined taste, asking a like
Yeah.
accomplished chef to make you whatever he wants to make you. That's risky. You're gonna get something you don't like.
Yep. So, but they did it, and he's like, it's the best meal he's ever had in his life.
Awesome. That's a success story.
Yeah, it's crazy. He was talking about it, and he said, you know, if I'm remembering correctly, he talks about just like even the pasta, how something so simple that he's had multiple
Mhm.
times was just like better than he'd ever had before.
People don't get homemade pasta. People don't get the value of homemade pasta.
Yeah.
Like even a restaurant made pasta or whatever, right? Like that place that you took us to Rome that I can never remember the name of.
Oh yeah. Why is my brain not working?
I don't know.
De Castro's.
De Castro's. Even a place like that that's like, and it was so good. Like
Mhm.
just having a sort of fresh made pasta is so good. And it's so funny that you were like, people around here say that it's just too expensive. Like it wasn't that expensive.
No.
Like $19 for a plate of pasta is a big plate of pasta, especially homemade, is not a crazy price.
Nope. But that's the thing is like bigger restaurants like that are so few and far between around us just because of the demographic
Yeah.
that we're in, that like you have to realize most of the people that are getting pasta are used to like Applebee's or like
Yeah,
Chili's
used to
or
Berea box
Yeah.
pasta.
yeah, you know what I mean? They're not used to, they're used to be able to go to Applebee's and get the 2 for $20
Yeah.
and call it a night, call it a date night. You know, you're not going to a place that makes their own pasta. You know, if you want to have
Come on, honey, let's go get kicked out of an Applebee's.
yeah.
You can get kicked out of an Applebee's?
All I can think about, I don't even know why this makes me think of it, is but we're gonna have a quick little what do we want to call this? This will be my loose end, just because
Okay.
it's a hilarious story. Has nothing to do with anything, but you talking about somebody getting kicked out of someplace made me think of it, and I know you know the story, but it's worth telling again. So,
Do I?
Yeah, you definitely do. Once I start telling you, you'll know.
Okay.
So I have a friend. We're just gonna call him Bob. Okay. I also have an acquaintance who is friends with Bob. We're gonna call him Tom.
Baba and Tama. Got it.
Bob and Tom. Yep. So one night I'm hanging out at my house and I have my phone goes off and it's a text message from Bob,
Oh, that
And-
Bob.
and he is pretty drunk, and I could tell from his text because it was poorly worded and not spelled correctly. And he goes, "What are
You up?"
What are you doing?" And that was all spelled
Oh.
wrong.
It was literally a you up text.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm just hanging out. Why? The minute I send it, my phone starts ringing. It's him. I'm at this party. Can you come pick me up? Come pick me and Tom up. We want to. Can we go to the casino to go to the buffet? So, mind you, for the people that don't know where we live, we're about 30 minutes from a casino, and they have a massive buffet. I'm like, guys, it is
Casino buffet.
Yeah, he's like, it's 2:30 in the morning. I'm not picking you up and then driving to the casino at 2:30 in the morning. Like, if you're hungry, we can go to Denny's, or I'll bring you to get McDonald's or something. I don't want that. So I go over, I pick Bob and Tom up. I drop Tom off first. I drop Bob off, and I go home. And I never think about it again.
Okay, cool story.
About 3 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
I finally talked to Bob, and I'm like, "What's going on, man? How you doing?" He's like, "Man, I got a story for you." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "After you dropped me off that night, I was so hungry and drunk that I decided to walk to Denny's." So, mind you, Bob lives probably about 3 miles from Denny's I'm just on the outskirts of the city area, I would say, from where we're at. So he walks.
I don't know if I know this story.
Oh, well. So he walks miles to Denny's. And he goes, so I'm inside of Denny's, and his Tom had met him there too. They walk there. So they're there. Tom ends up getting there and leaves. Like, starts to feel sick, ends up having somebody pick him up and bring him home. Like, okay, well, where are you going with this? He goes, he goes, I go into Denny's and I'm sitting there. He goes, I'm super drunk and I'm looking at my menu. And he's like, I look out the window and I see this guy, and he's just like screaming at his girlfriend, like kind of one of those huns, like hunched over, like pointing at her, yelling at her, screaming at her. He's like, I can feel my blood boiling, because he's like, I can't stand people that are disrespectful to women. And he goes, and then out of the corner of my eye, I just see him push her over the hood of the car. He's like, I got up and started walking out, and I start walking up to their car. And as I get closer, 3 other guys get out of the car that he pushed her onto. So now they got those 3 and him staring at me. He's like, and I am just hammered drunk. And the guy goes, you better mind your own business and walk away. And one of his friends goes, what are you going to do? What are you going to think you're going to do anyway? He goes, I will take my belt off, I will wrap it around his throat, and I'll kill him. I'll fucking kill him. And at that point, they just think that he's just a lunatic, drunk idiot, and they all turn around. Just ignore him. Guy starts screaming at his girlfriend again. He pushes her, and Bob, standing there, takes his belt off and runs up behind the guy and wraps it around his throat and just starts choking him out. And his girlfriend is screaming. His girlfriend screaming, don't kill him, don't kill him. The three friends are standing there just jaws dropped, shocked that a man of my stature is choking out their friend with a belt when it's a 4v1. He goes, so I'm in the middle of choking this out. His girlfriend screaming, don't kill him, don't kill him. All of a sudden, 2 cop cars come rolling in. He's like, so I let go. Cops come over. He's like, I let go of him before the cops could see that I was choking him. I'm like, but obviously I'm still out there, so like they made me stay for questioning. And I'm standing over to the side. He goes, and then one of the cops walks up to me and goes, so, sir, man over there tells me that you were strangling him with your belt. And he goes, well, officer, you see, I witnessed him put his hand on his girlfriend once while I was in the restaurant and once directly in front of my eyes. So yeah, he kind of deserves it. And he goes, and I thought I was just going to get put in cuffs for assault. And the cop looks at him and goes, man, that's awesome. He goes, we get called out here every weekend for domestic abuse for these people. That's wonderful. And I'm just like, at that point, I'm just like, this whole story is made up. I'm like, it's got to be made up. Like, no way that this is real. So
it smacks of the like Family Guy skit where he's like, no, I'm not saying that I did do this, but if I did and this was happening, this is what I would do.
Yeah, so
it smacks of that sort of skit.
I end up just like, I hear the story, I'm like, man, this is fake. I am convinced in my head that story was just like a made up thing to, just a story somebody's trying to tell to make them seem cool. So about 3 months go by and the same kind of scenario happens. Text me, what's up? I say nothing. He's like, yo, we're drunk. Would you mind coming to get us? Can we go to Denny's? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll pick you up. I'll bring you guys to Denny's. It's cool. I pick him up. We get to Denny's. We're sitting down. And so Tom has obviously heard the story at this point too. And he also thinks that it's not true. So we're sitting there waiting to get our drinks. We're looking at the menus. And the waitress walks up to us and she looks at Tom and she asks him for his drink. And she looks at me and she asks me for my drink. And she looks at Bob and she locks eyes with him and goes, oh, it's you again. Are you going to try to strangle anybody with your belt tonight? And I lost my fucking mind. Because at that moment it was real. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I was just shocked, just staring at the waitress, jaw dropped. Like, and Bob has just got a shit-eating grin on his face. Like, not tonight.
Told you.
Told you. Yeah. So that's my little loose end for the week. I thought that was a pretty funny story. Yeah. So sometimes
Still can't remember who Tom is. You'll have to tell me off mic, but
yeah. The funny thing is Tom is the one you would know more. Tom
does his name
is
start with a D?
Yes. Well,
'Kay.
his nickname. Well, yeah, his real name and his nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
I know exactly.
Yes.
because you got so confused by what his real name is. I know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because nobody calls him
Yeah.
his real name.
Yeah. But it's also like one letter off.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So so moral of the story is don't always write everything off. Sometimes people there's just crazy ass stories.
Sometimes your friend actually has choked someone with a belt.
Yeah. It can just sound I'm not crazy, right? Like that does sound just outwardly
Yeah.
crazy of a story.
Yeah, that sounds like something that someone made up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Well, see.
See? So there.
So my last little question, or kind of I guess it's a question more so.
Let's go.
And I'll go first so you have time to think. What is your favorite story about a local business, or favorite, heritage? Where do they start? How they get there? Is there something that stands out to you? Something that you know of a local place that has made it? So I'm going to go with Northern Safety.
Right.
For those that don't know what that is, it's a industrial protection company, I guess would be the best way to put it. They compete with Grainger. They sell all kinds of factory equipment, your hard hats, goggles, any kind of eye protection, safety vests, cleaning supplies.
I would put them in the same category as Grainger, maybe even Uline.
Yeah. So they started, believe it or not, out of the back of a van with two brothers selling like first aid kits, Band-Aids, and that stuff in the 80s. Like early 80s, and then eventually made their way up to like buying a small little building and then a warehouse, and now to the point where I actually interned with them in 2008, and they had a pretty decent sized building in an industrial park. They make their own products now. They also carry other companies as well, but make a ton of their own products. And actually it was, I want to say at this point, probably like 5 or 6 years ago at least, they got bought out by a huge international company. So they went from being like tiny little company to being so well known that they got bought out by this giant megacorp, which is just crazy. Trying to remember what the name of that company that bought them was. It starts with an H, I think. Or no, it starts with a Worth. It's
Worth.
It's pretty sure a German company.
Okay, I'll look them up. You keep talking.
But yeah, I mean, I just think that it's crazy because you don't really. It's kind of the same thing as like a celebrity coming out of your town, or going to school with a kid that makes it into the NFL. Like there's local places that are like they're just great and they're local and they're yours. But to see something in your backyard go from something so small to skyrocketed success where they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, it's just crazy because like we don't live in a big city.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know, there's just something about that has always stuck with me. It's almost like nothing's out of reach if that could happen. If you could start from selling Band-Aids and stuff out of the back of a van to go to selling your company for hundreds of millions, I don't know, it's a really cool thing. It's always stuck with me after like learning about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Worth, it seems to be a U.S. company. They just started down in whatever you want to call it, the tri-state area. Muncie, New York, which I think is on Long Island, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and then I guess they're just buying up other little local businesses like this.
That's so weird. Why did I think they were German? Probably
because they have an umlaut.
Yeah, that's probably it. Oh no, Germany-based Worth Group, number 2 industrial distributors, 2014 Big 50 list. Yeah.
I guess I am just looking at the specifically USA branch.
Yeah, let's see here.
Unimportant. Ooh, free golf balls with your order if you order from Northern Safety. I don't know. Being in Rochester, I think the obvious pick is Wegmans.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that they have their issues, particularly with, I guess, their former CEO, Danny Wegman. Like he did some shady shit. And I think he still does. Like Wegmans makes the Forbes like best places to work list basically every year. But Forbes is kind of a scam. Like you pay for to be on those lists no matter what.
Yeah.
So, it's a little shady. But honestly, like Wegmans is they're like the innovator in the supermarket space. You go into any supermarket these days and produce is right at the front, like right near the door. Apparently, that was a Wegmans innovation. Like some of the stuff that they do just sort of leads the way in the whole industry, even though they're technically, I mean, now they're probably a large business because they've expanded like all the way down to like North Carolina at this point, I believe.
Oh man, where were they when I was there?
Maybe not. Maybe just to Virginia. Definitely to Virginia. But yeah, I mean, they're expanding rapidly at this point, but it took them a long time to actually get to the point where they were expanding like through state borders, right?
Yeah.
But even when they weren't, they were innovating and they were leading the way in like supermarket business. So it's hard when you're living in Rochester to not pick them as like the best success story, I guess, of a local business.
Yeah, I mean they've always been great. It's like that and them and I would say Publix are like the two stores like throughout my life that I've heard that people are like, you gotta go to here.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's ever excited to tell somebody you gotta try it. Go to Walmart for the first time. Like,
doesn't A-list celebrity's mother refuse to move away from a Publix? Because Alec Baldwin's mother refuses to move out of Rochester because she'll miss Wegmans. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something about Wegmans.
They do it right.
Something about it. Yeah, I know.
They were one of the first places I remember when I went to. I think my first time going to Wegmans was right around the time that you moved into college.
Yeah, sure.
And they were like the first one of the first places I ever saw have like a beer cave, like where they just had like the big open area. It wasn't just like a random aisle with beer shoved in it. Like
area.
it is. Yeah. It's like just a whole little area dedicated to it. It was just cool.
I haven't really noticed any place else doing this, but one of the better things they've been doing in the past few years is putting a cooler right up front with milk and eggs and some other select stuff. But you don't have to walk. I don't know why, but like milk and eggs are always in the back corner of grocery stores. I know it's to make you walk through and buy other stuff, but Wegmans has been putting coolers right up front with at least milk and eggs in them.
Yeah, because that's a convenience to get people to come back.
Yeah, yeah. Those quick trips are what is going to keep people coming back. If you can go into a place and walk in and walk through and get the thing that you know where it is and walk out, then you're going to go back for a longer trip later. At a place like that has a ton of stuff, but like, I don't know. It just makes sense. It just makes sense for the necessities to be up front. You treat your customers with even a modicum of respect, and they're going to respect you back. Wegmans, apparently has some track record. I'm sure that Sky will chime in on why Wegmans is not as good, not like the Lord and Savior that everybody thinks that it is. But for what they are the best at what they are.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also has to do with kind of similar in just everyday transactions in life. And we're seeing it more so in specifically marketing, where it used to be you were paying for somebody's access. You know what I mean? So they would gatekeep ideas like, we know how to do this. And there's been a huge shift away from that in, I would say, the last 5 years, where it's not cool or it's not the thing that wins you clients by you being the only one to do it. Sharing what you know with people gets you more business than gatekeeping everyone. Because the people that are willing to spend money would rather pay you to do it and use their time for something else. Because they trust you. So you explaining to them how to do it in a way that they understand because you're giving away your information pays tenfold, because you've gained that one person that actually had big money to spend. You've gained their trust because now that they know that you can handle it, they can use their time somewhere else. And we're seeing a big shift in that direction. And I think that's kind of the same thing. You know, you put
Yeah.
you make the conveniences for your customers by putting that cooler at the front, by having
Yep.
the produce up front.
I don't know if this is exactly the same thing, but these like socially conscious companies are getting big these days
Yeah.
for it feels like the same reason.
Yep.
Like Bombas socks, right? Like you hear them advertising all the time. But realistically, like people, the best pitch that they have made that made people want to buy their socks. I haven't personally bought any of their stuff, but the biggest pitch that they've make that makes people want to buy their socks is for every pair bought, they donate a pair.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the biggest pitch.
Mhm.
Quality, whatever. But this social consciousness, like, is the sort of thing that makes people want to go there.
Yeah. I mean,
And like, in the other thing that comes to mind, and I'm not sure if this is exactly the same thing, but Linus Tech Tips just released their backpack. It is obscenely expensive. It is $250, but it's comparable to other sort of luxury buy it for life products. And he has sort of taken people along with him on the development process, choosing the material and the iterations of making a luxury product like this. And in the end, like, it looks like a great product. Not something that I would spend $250 on, but for someone who has that budget to buy on a backpack or a travel bag, is honestly what it is. Like, that is worthwhile. Just being transparent and letting people into the process. Even something as simple as that.
yeah. No, it's identical. Guy that I talked about before, Peter McKinnon, the one that has the shot glasses that I was trying to get.
Oh, yeah. I
His is
still
the same-
follow him.
His is the same thing. He put out a backpack in collaboration with another company. I forget what their name of the company was, but same thing. I think it's like $350.
Yeah.
But it has like everything down to the stitching was handpicked by him.
Yeah.
The compartments and everything are laid out for somebody that lives the same lifestyle that he does with,
Yep.
being a photographer, videographer on the go. Like, he thought
Yeah, that's-
of everything.
That's what it is. The LTT backpack is a tech backpack. It has a slot for your laptop. It has a slot for a Steam Deck because the type of people he's selling to going to use that. So yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right.
Okay.
So I think that wraps up my topic for the week. What word did you
Okay.
decide to go to? Since I already gave my loose end,
You sure did.
we're gonna slide right into your word.
My word this week is worst.
Sounds like the worst thing you could have picked.
It is the worst thing that I could have picked. Anybody who sort of knows me online, and if you join our Discord server, you will see why I picked this, how this word came to be picked. My online gamertag username, whatever, is the worst mailman. It's simple, it's easy to say, it's easy to remember for people, and that got me thinking of just usernames. And that's sort of where I'm going with my discussion this week. So, I guess my first question here is, what to you, Josh, makes a good username or gamer tag or whatever people want to call it? Like, just online avatar name. Do you have an answer? Or?
Yeah, I really think it depends on the person. There's two options, I feel like.
Okay.
Two different ways that it could be, a good username.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is it has to be memorable. So it can be
Yeah.
something that is completely has nothing to do with the person. It's not really a tie to them. It's just memorable. Like Ninja, for example. He's not a ninja,
What?
but it's memorable. It's short. It's a single word. It's just easy to associate that with a person.
Yeah.
So you have that, and then you have the names like Tim the Tap Man, which is very distinct and descriptive of that person,
Yeah.
and it evokes, some kind of idea of what that person is like.
Tells you what he is.
Yeah, it tells
he is
you
a
what it
tap
is.
man.
Yeah, and it's kind of I would lump him in with like the same kind of stuff as like the people that have funny names. You know, it evokes an emotion by you reading it. You learn something
Sure.
about them. They like funny
Moist
things.
critical.
Yeah, moist critical. Like he's a goofy guy. He's not going to
Yep.
take life too serious, and you can tell that based on that. So I think those are kind of your two, at least how I gauge them, two ways to gauge what makes a good username.
Yeah, sure.
How about you?
Yeah, I get that. That is good. It's funny because without putting it into words, you sort of hit on what one of mine is. It's a username that you don't like need to modify.
Yeah.
Almost all the usernames that I've had throughout the years, like, are unique enough that I don't have to modify them. And if I do have to modify them, I modify them in small ways. I chose the worst mailman after I got a job with the United States Postal Service, and it's just fun. You know, it's irreverent or deprecatory, whatever. Like,
He's
it's
not lying.
self-deprecating.
He really is the worst mailman, though.
I am the worst.
He's terrible.
In every metric.
He leaves the mail out in the rain on purpose before he gives it to you.
Yep.
He rips everything open. He
I
only
make sure-
leaves the junk mail, and he takes all the important stuff, so it's lost.
I make sure to walk the same exact path through your yard every day, so I wear a game trail through your yard.
Yep. Psychological warfare with your mailman that you didn't know existed.
Hey, should have left me a tip if you didn't want a game trail in your yard. But yeah, it's that sort of thing. Like, you could boil it down. I think it's a little reductive to say no numbers or
Yeah.
anything. But just having something that is unique enough that nobody else is going to have it. Like,
Yeah.
it's either that or you have to be super vigilant to get your name in every game that you play. Like, even Ninja doesn't have his name in every game that he plays, right?
No,
Or he
he's-
has to pay for it.
Yeah, he's got like Ninja's Hyper or
Yeah.
something along
yeah.
those lines. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, Ninja's his brand. It's not necessarily his gamer tag or username. Because how hard is it to get Ninja? Like,
He has
if
it
your
in a
name
lot
is-
of places though.
yeah. Well, if it's your job, you can be on the servers immediately to get that name on a popular game that's
Oh, they
coming
just
out.
give it to you.
Yeah, that too.
There's no fight for it. It's just here you go.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, the worst mailman's the one that I'm currently using, right? But I've had to use variations. The worst mailman is just long enough that I can't use it sometimes. In the mobile game that I'm playing most right now, Ultimate Golf, I wasn't able to use it. It was one character too long. So, or this applies to if I want to make an alt account too. I'll use the best mailman. Or I changed it on Ultimate Golf, and I think I like this one better. If I need an alt, I'm going to now do the worst mailman and the last mailman. It's just so much more dramatic.
True.
So yeah, I'm the last mailman that you'll ever need.
Mm. So last one,
Two
if
for
the
the price of
zombie
one.
apocalypse happens,
Mhm.
just know that Vince will be out delivering your mail still. He is the last one.
Mhm. Yep. Doesn't matter how many zombies I get bit by.
He's going to be stiff
I
arming
will-
them zombies like he's Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Yep.
I know him. I want to go through though some of the I guess gamer tag. I wrote gamer tags. I wrote a bunch of different stuff. I couldn't figure out the language to use for this topic on the doc here. I'm sure you can see. But your favorite usernames that you've ever used, or I guess a quick history of the usernames that you've used.
I mean, my favorite
'Cause,
one
like-
definitely is my current one, which is Scuzzy.
Yeah.
I thought about rebranding from my previous one. So before I was Scuzzy, I am Frank Yeager. So anybody that knows me
Yep.
personally would know that Metal Gear Solid is my favorite game series of all time. I have a huge collection of Metal Gear Solid stuff, and my favorite character from that is the Cyborg Ninja. And if you follow the storyline of Metal Gear Solid back to Metal Gear on the NES, you actually find out that Frank Yeager, who fights along Big Boss in Metal Gear, ends up getting killed, or so they think so, and
Ooh.
taken, and they turn him into the Cyborg Ninja.
Cyborg Ninja.
So Cyborg Ninja was like too basic and taken and a lot. But I wanted to pay homage to my favorite character. So I am Frank Yeager, because Frank Yeager was also taken, because that's also a popular name, believe it or not.
Uh-huh.
So
It's almost like it's a very typical German name.
yeah, so I am Frank Yeager was my name for a very long time.
I'm pretty sure also spelled wrong because you used a Y.
No.
Shouldn't it be spelled with a J?
Yeah, there's a J in it.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, no, it was a J.
I don't know why I thought it was spelled, why you spelled it with a Y.
No, it was spelled correctly with a J.
Never mind.
But I started streaming on Twitch a lot back then, and this was in 2015, 2016 time. I had been streaming on and off since like 2013, but during the H1Z1 Prime days, I started to get a decent little, 5-10 people in there watching me, talking with me. I started to get more involved in like Twitch communities and had made a bunch of friends playing those games. And I came to the realization that like 90% of them didn't know that my name was Josh. They all thought my real name was Frank.
Oh, yeah.
So at that point, I was getting ready and thinking about going to TwitchCon. And I'm like, I'm going to have to I'm either going to have to just become okay and know that people are talking to me when they say Frank, or switch my name. And I'm like, I'm never going to, in a real life situation, especially if there's other Franks, I'm never going to look. Like, it's just not nature for me. I'm like, I got to change it. But I couldn't think of anything good. So I spent probably like 6 months to a year trying to come up with a name, like something that was descriptive, just catchy, sounded good, rolled off the tongue, and I landed on Scuzzy, which was I play a lot of FPS games and specifically Call of Duty, and I pride myself in my skill in that game, and my friends would always say I was disgusting at it, so that was kind of my adaptation of disgusting, but it also had a tie. Yeah, I'm Scuzzy. But it also, I thought it was fitting because it has a tie to like technology, and I'm a huge technology person, and they had the old school Scuzzy drives in it, so it was kind of like double meaning for me. So that's why I went with that. So that's definitely my favorite one that I've had.
Yeah.
I've had a ton throughout the years though. I had obviously I am Frank Yeager. I had Frank Cyborg Ninja in a couple of things. I had Pokey Dork for a long time.
Pokey Dork.
Yeah. Pokey Dork was my name, and that was
a good one.
That was because back in the time when everybody else forgot about Pokemon before this last boom, I got an itch and started collecting Pokemon cards hardcore again back in 2011, 2012. So I was the only one of my friends, especially at my age, that was going out and playing with Pokemon cards, but I got huge into it and loved it. So one of our coworkers called me Pokey Dork, and so that became my name. And I had Adrenalized, and that was to do with
I forgot about that one.
A Call of Duty clan that I was in. Every name had to have the lowercase I in front of it.
Wow.
And then I don't know if I can think of anything else that I had before that. Oh yeah, okay. I had Big J.
Oh yeah.
That was actually my OG one on PlayStation.
Big J and your birthday.
Yep. That was
not a great username because it had your actual full birth date.
Yep.
In it.
Yeah. So I had that one. Then I had multiple other spin-offs from there. I had Sergeant Slippers.
Oh yeah.
And that was because I spent a lot of time at my aunt's house growing up, and her floors were always cold. So I would go over there on Saturday night, and I would I was going to be there the whole day, and we'd be hanging out in the basement with my cousin and his friends. My cousin was like 4 years older than me, and all of his friends, and I'd be just, hanging out with them. I would bring my slippers because my feet were cold, and I didn't know. I didn't know for till years later that all of his friends referred to me as Slippers. So once I found that out, that was kind of a running gag. So I played Call of Duty with a bunch of his friends. So then I made that account to start playing with him on Sergeant Slippers. So I had that one. I had the Golden Goose.
And is that just like is that just like a Smurf account for on Call of Duty?
Yeah, no, not Golden Goose, Golden Spoon. That's what it was.
Golden Spoon.
The Golden Spoon.
Yeah, okay, that sounds right.
Yeah. That was just another little knockoff one. I've had so many. I had 10 different accounts for PlayStation back on Call of Duty 4. Like so many different ones. So
yeah.
Could have been a bunch. What about you? I know you've had like three or four that I can think of.
Yeah, I tend to have them and stick with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have the worst mailman now, variations thereupon. Before I got this job as mailman, my name was Test Tube Babies. It was just, I don't know. To me, like they have a similar cadence. Test Tube Babies, the worst mailman.
Yeah.
Like that structure just sort of speaks to me. It's kind of funny. Just the cadence of the phrase is funny to me. So Test Tube Babies, I stuck with that a long time. I never ever ran into a situation where I couldn't use it. Like not a single time did I have to change from Test Tube Babies to, I don't know, Test Tube Baby or something like that.
Yeah. Nobody picks that.
It was so good. No, yeah, why would you? So yeah, that was a really good one. But before that, I had DSOTM 629. It is numbers based on my birth date, and I'm a big Pink Floyd fan. So I picked DSOTM, Dark Side of the Moon. That's hard to explain to people. For some reason, as popular as that album is, people just do not think about it. Yeah, people do not think about the first letters of that album. Like if that album were released today, it probably wouldn't even be called Dark Side of the Moon. It would be called DSOTM, and the people in the know would know there was Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, 100%.
But for some reason, nobody ever knows. Like to the point that it's still my username in some places. I think like I have a Twitter account that I don't really use that's DSOTM 629, and I think some like e-girl like solicited me on there and was like I'm gonna figure out what DSOTM 629 stands for. Tee-hee, come check out my kick.
I bet you were so curious you had to find out.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. That was one of the weirdest things. Some weird shit's happened on that account. Apparently, like there was when like the third season of Rick and Morty was coming out, they were running giveaways. And the only giveaway that I ever won was on that account. I retweeted it. Nerdist like DM'd me and was like, "Hey, you won this t-shirt giveaway for whatever season 3 episode 5 of Rick and Morty." Because I didn't use Twitter, I never saw that until about 2 years later.
Love that for you.
Yeah, that was very good when I actually was like, how am I getting a notification on Twitter? I opened it up, DM from 2 years ago. Cool.
That's wonderful.
But yeah, that made me like one of my gamer tag on Xbox for a long time was just Darkside 629 because that was just easier. And then people started calling me Darkside because our friend Vinny uses his actual real name. So I wasn't Vinny anymore.
Yep.
He was Vinny and I was Darkside.
Yeah, which because we all worked together, so it made it very confusing. Yep.
Yeah,
worked together and played games together, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's basically my entire history of like usernames. No, the first username that I ever had on AIM, Instant Messenger, was DuckDuck909.
DuckDuck909?
DUK 909. I don't know what the 909 is. I honestly don't know what the DuckDuck is. Why was it that?
I have no idea.
But That's my, I think, entire history. I try to keep mine very simple. I try to find something that's long that people aren't going to want to try to use, but that doesn't have numbers in it. And that I've hit on the winning combination with the worst mailman. Although I changed my name from Darkside629, I tried to change it to the worst mailman on Xbox, and it said it was too long. So I did worst mailman, and then it gave me numbers.
Oh no.
So I'm like worst mailman 132, I think, on Xbox. And I'm so pissed about it.
You're not even the original. What a fraud.
I don't think that's true.
You're a fraud.
No, it's just that one of their it like has a hashtag with numbers, which is supposed to differentiate you without reassigning that tag.
Yeah.
But on the actual Xbox ecosystem, it shows me as worst mailman 132, not worst mailman hashtag 132, which I would have been okay with. But no.
Get robbed.
Fucked me. Yeah.
Get robbed.
I got fucking Xbox cucked me out of my
I'm trying to think.
username.
I know I had a bunch of other ones like AOL Instant Messengers and stuff back in my angsty, teen years, but I can't remember what they were.
Man.
I had I had like 3 or 4 different ones. I remember one, but I can't remember what it stood for. It was AIMMIOX25, and I can't remember.
Aging is mandatory.
Yeah, maturing is optional.
Maturing is optional.
I forgot that's what it stood for.
I remember that one because I was a little salty that you like stole one of my phrases that I gave you.
Yeah. I couldn't even
Not
remember.
that that's original. I heard that somewhere else, but then I like brought it to the friend group, and then you're like, man, I thought of this awesome username. Man. But that was just an insecure like teenager thing. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm like, I could remember it, but I can't remember what it means.
That is actually hilarious that you could remember the acronym, but not the. It's funny, some of the acronyms that like are just sort of out there on the internet.
Yep.
There is one subreddit that is it's an acronym. I believe the phrase is upvoted not because girl, but because it's amazing, although I will admit that I initially clicked on it because girl. So whatever the acronym of that is the subreddit name. But it's so confusing that they had to create specifically a redirect subreddit that is UNBG. r/UNBG will give you a link to the full subreddit. But I love it. I love that. That's sort of good. There's all sorts of weird lore with Reddit when it comes to that. Like the other one that comes to mind is r/trees is a weed subreddit.
Well, that makes sense.
It is the weed subreddit, actually. Like it's way more popular than any of the others.
Yeah.
So when like arborists decided to get on Reddit and make their community, they were like, well, trees is already taken and it's really popular, so we can't just ask for it. So we will make our subreddit r/marijuana enthusiasts. So r/marijuana enthusiast is dedicated to literal trees.
Imagine being fucking stoned and trying to go on Reddit and trying to find it, and you just I could just imagine myself like flopping back and forth, being like, "Oh, okay, let me go to Reddit." Yeah, marijuana enthusiast.
I'm a marijuana enthusiast, man.
Let me look at the. Why does that say trees? Huh. Oh, so maybe it's backward.
What the fuck is a dogwood? Is that some new strain? Bro.
Cherry blossom tree? What the fuck?
So wait, you're telling me that a cherry blossom and a sakura are the same thing? Go, get out of here.
That's not what they told me in anime.
All right. I remembered one. There was one that we made together that we haven't, that neither of us have mentioned.
Huh. Oh,
actually,
was it a Call of Duty?
Maybe
one?
There's 2. Yeah, there's a Call of Duty one and a Rock Band one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember both, but the Call of Duty one, I think, Soap McStabish.
Oh, that was one that I didn't remember. That was not the one that I was thinking about.
Yeah,
I
so
was thinking of Sweatpants Boner.
oh yeah,
That would get caught, I think, on a lot of obscenity filters at this time.
that and Fudge McPacky were the two
Oh, yeah.
were the two best ones that I
Yeah.
had seen
We
in a
made
long
these
time.
just meme accounts, basically.
Yeah.
Soap McStabish was literally just a stabbing account.
Yeah,
A
yep,
punching account, actually.
yep,
Because there was a glitch in Modern Warfare where if you were holding just the grenade, you could run faster.
yep, and just punch.
So we would run around knifing people, but the knife would never come out, so you just punch someone with a grenade.
Yep, God, that was so
Oh,
fun.
that was fun.
I'll never
wow.
forget being at your brother's house doing like knife only with everyone. It just
Yeah, just going around punching.
oh, it was hilarious.
Super speed.
The Rock Band one though is forever good. It'll forever be in my
Yeah.
heart.
The Fallopian Tube Swim Team.
Yep.
I think we must have just taken biology at the time.
oh, must have
something.
be. I don't even know, but it was too perfect.
But this band name made me remember what a fallopian tube is.
Actually, I'll bring this up now
Oh, so good.
while we're talking about it, just because this has nothing to do with gamer tags, but kind of on the same thing. Obviously, right now, fantasy football is starting to become a big thing because this Thursday is the
Mhm.
first opening game.
Okay. Everybody's really excited to see their favorite wizards and druids and
Yeah.
elves get out on that gridiron and throw the pigskin around.
Yep. So fantasy team names has got to be one of the best things ever because there's just wonderful ones.
It's a
So-
fucking Wild West still.
Yep. In my league, we have there's somebody's team name Two Girlies, One Cup,
No,
which
no.
after Todd Gurley and Cooper Cup.
Oh, God.
We have Step Burrow. I'm stuck.
Oh, Jesus. That was a good one. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Riley Reed option.
Oh, no.
Yep. We had Henry Ruggs BAC.
Don't know who that is. Yeah. Oh, no. Henry Rugg. Got it. Yep. I know who that is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the guy that crashed. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wild Wild West is for sure. And then Magic Johnson's immune system.
Yeah, I've heard of that one before.
Yeah. So there's some really good ones. Let me see my other league. See what other great ones we have. I love seeing all the funny ones that people come up with.
Yeah. People get wacky on it. I love it.
I know last year somebody in my league was hanging with Hernandez. What else do we have?
I'm trying to think of like club names that I've been in video games that have been good. In Clash Royale, we had Ryan's Goslings. That was a good one.
Yeah. Last year I used Getting Diggy with it, and I had photoshopped Stefan Diggs' face onto Will Smith's body in the
Hell yeah.
Getting Jiggy with It video. And then before that, my team name was Can You Dig It, Sucker, and I photoshopped his face on Booker T from with him doing the wave in front of his face. Can you dig it, sucker?
So good.
Yep. So
Did you do a spin? Could you find a way to animate a spin Rooney?
I wish. So yeah, I thought that those are worth mentioning and tied into naming conventions.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I guess the question I'll end with is just like your favorite things that you've seen, not necessarily yours, but what are some of the funny, other than like Magic Johnson's immune system, what are some of the funniest like in-game names that you've seen?
Oh man.
The one that I came up with this question. I've been racking my brain trying to think of like what are good names that I've seen, because like there's a lot in MMOs because people have to come up with unique names. There's a lot of really good ones. I'm having a hard time remembering. But I remember this TikTok that I saw where it was a girl that was like doing the call your boyfriend by his gamer tag challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
So she sort of he's gaming on his PC, and she sort of comes up behind him, and she's like, she's gonna do it, and she looks at the screen, and then she just puts her head in her hands. She's like, Conquistador? And he starts laughing, and she's like, is that you? That's your gamer tag? These are like 30 somethings. And he's just laughing. He doesn't say a single word, just laughing. And she's like, oh my fucking God. And then it cuts to like a later. He's still laughing. The caption says, it's been 5 minutes. He's still laughing. He's been waiting for this moment, for someone to recognize it and actually say it in his real life. Conquistador.
Oh,
That's a good one.
That is a really good one. Wow. I'm trying to find this one that I had saved. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I just remember dying laughing to it.
Okay.
So we will put this as a little surprise in the description of the video. You can look for the one that I am thinking of in the description to figure out what it was, because I can't think of it now, but I'm going to find it and put it there for you.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
I think with that, we are...
Oh, no, I have a loose end.
That I forgot about
kind of goes
loose end.
along. I know, it kind of goes along with this topic. Have you been on TikTok like the past maybe 4 days?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen the videos that are like the girlfriend and whatever, or like something about rhythm with this weird song that goes a little something like this? Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, 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 ooh.
No.
Have you heard that song at all?
Not off the top of my head, no.
I am flabbergasted. This has been all over TikTok past 2 or 3 days. I will back up about a week to tell you the story, because it took me maybe like a half an hour to figure out what this was. About a week ago, I saw this post on Reddit, the subreddit TIFU, Today I Fucked Up.
Mm-hmm.
Today is kind of loose in this subreddit. So somebody posts this thing that's like, today I fucked up by having weird taste in music for 2 years or something like that.
Oh.
And this dude has been dating his girlfriend for 2 years.
I did hear this, and he fucks his girlfriend to the same one for 2 years. Yes.
Well, not the same particular song. He has a playlist. It's like a 2-hour playlist. So,
yeah,
it's going through. But there is this song, and the sort of breakdown of the song goes like that. Do 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 do. And he's saying, like, I like to thrust with the rhythm. And today, yesterday, she told me that she didn't like it. She thought that my taste in music was weird, and now it's made sex really awkward for us. And that's where the original post ended. And it was fucking hilarious and just sort of weird. So that was a week ago. I read this a week ago.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm scrolling through TikTok, and I'm like, I see this video that was like, I love running to this rhythm. And it's this dude running to this rhythm. I'm like, what the heck? It's funny, but I don't really get the context of it, I guess. And I keep scrolling through, and then it's like this, the girlfriend, when she's scrolling through TikTok, she's like, I thought I left this. I'm like, what is going on? I don't remember this post at this point yesterday until about a half an hour in, and it clicks with me. And I realize this is what they're talking about. I go back to Reddit and I look at what the hell is going on. How does this make its way over there? He made a follow-up post that is, my girlfriend, today I fucked up by posting on Reddit about my sex life. So this dude pulled a Vinny Yako, and his Reddit username is his name.
Oh man.
And he's like, and his girlfriend's little sister sees the post, recognizes his name, recognizes their ages, and recognizes the song.
Ugh.
And she brings it up in front of her parents. And they recognize the song because apparently the girlfriend told them that he had weird taste in music, and he played them that song.
Oh man, the hole just keeps digging deeper and deeper.
Yes. And that's like what ended their relationship, is because not only did they like recognize the song from him playing it, apparently they just like heard it playing or whatever and sort of discounted it as, oh, she's listening to his weird music again. Nah, he was railing your daughter.
Oh man.
And it fucking apparently messed this dude up. He has now like made a TikTok video about it. He has released a full playlist, or someone like recreated the playlist.
Oh
or
yeah, I mean
something.
he got his viral moment, and now he's just gonna ride it.
But that was so. How you're gonna post something like that? His update post is like, apparently there's not that many Tylers who are 25 who are dating a girl who is like 20 years old and has been dating her for 2 years and listens to this song.
Yeah, that's some pretty
Like, yeah, man,
pretty.
it's a lot of
finite
identifying
things.
information.
Yeah, that's a lot of finite detail.
So how are you gonna post about this on the internet on your basically real name?
Yeah.
Wacky. Even Vinny Yako, like Vinny Yako's gamer tag has been Vinny Yako for years. Even he's moving away from that. He's Viggles now.
Yeah. Yep.
But man, it was so funny.
So I found it. I found the picture, and rather I will still post this instead of in the description. It's going to be in the Discord in the episode channel.
Yeah.
Because I want the picture to be there. But I saw this one night playing New World. It wasn't New World. It was Lost Ark, and I died laughing for 20 minutes.
Okay. Oh, I was playing with you.
Yeah.
Idelia is Nicole.
Yeah. Yep. Walt Disney.
Disney
has to be one of the best usernames I've ever seen in a video game.
Wow. Yeah, that is good. I'm so glad you have that screenshot, because I would not have remembered this.
Me neither. I didn't remember the thing. I just remembered that it was so good that I screenshotted it and put it in a Discord. So I had to go through all of our Discords to look for it.
Oh man, that's so good.
But I think with that we can turn it on over to Past Us.
Yeah, take it away. Thank you and congratulations for making it to the end of this episode of Queered on the Street. We have been your hosts, Vince and Josh. You can find us on our socials. You can find us on Twitter at Queered on the Street, QUORD on the ST. If you're listening to us on YouTube /Queered on the Street, go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment. And wherever you're listening to us, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you can leave a review, please leave us a review. If you tell us what we can do worse, I promise I will read it on the podcast, unless it's just too mean.
If you have any need to contact us in a longer format, you can email us at queeredonthestreet@gmail.com, or you can visit us on our website, queeredonthestreet.xyz. Feel free to leave us a voice message on there. If you want to reach out to us individually, you can get a hold of us at our personal Twitters. Mine is @I'mScuzzy, IMSKUZZEY.
And I am at V_C, spell out the underscore. We would finally like to acknowledge the people that made this podcast happen. Josh Wardle, who is the original creator of Wordle.
And Freddie Meyer, the creator of Quordle, who you can find on Twitter @Quordle.
And with that, we will just ask you, as always, to
get the cord out.